Something strange is happening in the skincare world. Women are throwing out their $300 serums and their 12-step routines, and replacing all of it with one thing. A single ingredient that looks like white cream, comes from an animal, and was used by women for thousands of years before it was quietly pulled off the market. It's called tallow. And if you haven't heard of it yet, or if you have heard of it and you're not sure whether it's legitimate or just another wellness trend, this video is for you. Because by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly what beef tallow is, why it works the way it does, and why the women who have switched to it are not going back. Let's start with the basics, because there's a lot of confusion around this. Beef tallow is rendered beef fat. That's it. It is fat from cattle that has been slowly melted down, purified, and cooled into a smooth, creamy solid. It has no smell when properly rendered. It has a silky, almost buttery texture. And it has been used by humans for thousands of years, for cooking, for candles, for soap, and for skin. The word tallow itself comes from Middle English and refers specifically to the hard fat rendered from cattle or sheep. It's distinct from lard, which comes from pigs, and from butter, which comes from dairy. Tallow is beef fat, rendered, purified, and ready to use. Now here's the question most people ask immediately. Isn't that gross? And it's a fair question. We've been conditioned to think of animal fat as something to avoid, something heavy, greasy, unclean. But that conditioning is recent. Very recent. And it has more to do with marketing than with science. Human beings have been putting animal fat on their skin since before recorded history. Every ancient civilization. Every culture on every continent. Not because they didn't have options, because it worked. Here's what makes tallow genuinely different from most moisturizers on the market. And this is the part most people don't know. Your skin has a specific fat composition. The outer layer of your skin, the stratum corneum, which is your skin barrier, is made up of roughly 50% saturated fat, 35% monounsaturated fat, and about 15% polyunsaturated fat. Beef tallow has a fat composition that mirrors this almost exactly. This is not a coincidence. This is the result of millions of years of biology. We evolved alongside these animals. We ate them. We used every part of them. And our skin learned to recognize and utilize their fats. When you apply a moisturizer that your skin doesn't recognize, synthetic compounds, highly processed plant oils, petroleum derivatives, your skin can only do one thing with it. Sit it on top of the surface and try to work around it. When you apply tallow, your skin recognizes it at a cellular level. It absorbs it. It uses it to actually rebuild and replenish the skin barrier, not just coat it. The difference is like the difference between eating real food versus taking a vitamin pill. The pill might give you some nutrients, but real food gives you everything, in a form your body already knows how to use. Tallow is also exceptionally rich in fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K. These vitamins are critical for skin health. Vitamin A supports cell turnover. Vitamin D supports immune function and inflammation response. Vitamin E is one of the most well-studied antioxidants for skin. Vitamin K supports healing and reduces the appearance of dark circles and bruising. Most synthetic moisturizers add synthetic versions of these vitamins back in after stripping them out through processing. Tallow contains them naturally in their bioavailable form. And then there's CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. CLA is a fatty acid found naturally in the fat of grass-fed ruminant animals. Research suggests it has anti-inflammatory properties, supports skin barrier function, and may even play a role in reducing the appearance of aging. You won't find it in plant-based oils. You won't find it in synthetic creams. You find it in tallow. If regular beef tallow is already this effective, you might be wondering, why does the source of the tallow matter? Why wagyu specifically? The answer comes down to fat quality, and wagyu cattle produce a categorically different fat than conventional cattle. Wagyu are a Japanese breed known worldwide for one thing: their extraordinary marbling. The fat that runs through every fiber of their meat is unlike any other cattle breed. It's higher in oleic acid, the same monounsaturated fatty acid that makes olive oil so celebrated for its skin benefits. Oleic acid is deeply penetrating. It doesn't sit on the skin surface. It moves through the layers, carrying other beneficial compounds with it. It's one of the reasons wagyu tallow absorbs so beautifully. No greasy residue, no heavy feeling. Just deep, lasting moisture. Wagyu tallow is also higher in omega-3 fatty acids than conventional beef tallow, particularly when sourced from pasture-raised animals. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory, critical for anyone dealing with redness, irritation, eczema, or reactive skin. And the vitamin content is richer. Grass-fed, well-raised wagyu accumulates more fat-soluble vitamins than grain-fed commodity cattle. The fat reflects the life of the animal. Put simply, wagyu tallow is the highest expression of what tallow can be. It takes something that already works extraordinarily well and refines it further. Which is exactly why wagyu tallow became the foundation of the opulent facial elixir. Chosen not for trend, but for biology. Our tallow is sourced from wagyu farmers here in the United States, triple rendered to remove any trace of scent. Because luxury skincare should never smell like a kitchen. Link is in the description. The one caveat: if you have a known beef allergy, tallow may not be appropriate for you. This is rare but worth noting. For everyone else, tallow is worth trying. And most people who try it don't go back. One of the most common questions about tallow skincare is this for everyone? Or is it only for certain skin types? The honest answer is that tallow tends to work well across skin types, but it works differently depending on your skin's specific needs. For dry skin, the results tend to be immediate. The richness of the fat is deeply nourishing. People with chronically dry skin often report that tallow does in one application what their previous moisturizer couldn't do in weeks. For sensitive or reactive skin, tallow is often the first thing that doesn't cause a reaction. When you strip out the preservatives, fragrances, emulsifiers, and synthetic compounds, there's very little left for sensitive skin to react to. Many people with contact dermatitis, perioral dermatitis, and eczema find tallow to be the safest moisturizer they've ever used. For oily or acne-prone skin, and this is the part that surprises people most, tallow can actually help. When skin is consistently deprived of the fats it needs, it compensates by producing more sebum. Giving the skin the lipids it recognizes externally can signal it to slow down its own oil production. This takes a few weeks, but many people report significantly less oiliness after switching to tallow. For aging skin, the fat-soluble vitamins and CLA content support cell turnover and skin barrier repair in ways that most synthetic anti-aging products can only approximate. The one caveat: if you have a known beef allergy, tallow may not be appropriate for you. This is rare but worth noting. For everyone else, tallow is worth trying. And most people who try it don't go back. Using tallow is simpler than most skincare routines, which is part of why people love it. Start with clean, slightly damp skin. After washing your face, while it's still just a little moist, take a very small amount of tallow, pea-sized, maybe less, and press it between your fingers to warm it slightly. This helps it soften and absorb more easily. Then press it gently into your face. Not rubbing, pressing. Work it in with light upward motions if you like, but the main thing is just to get it onto the skin and let it absorb. Give it about 5 minutes before applying anything else. Most people find it absorbs completely within that time. No greasy residue, just skin that feels genuinely nourished. Use it morning and night, or just at night if you prefer a lighter feel during the day. Many people find that nighttime use alone is enough. The skin does most of its repair work while you sleep, and tallow gives it the raw materials it needs to do that. A little goes a very long way. 1 jar of quality tallow moisturizer typically lasts most people 2 to 3 months of daily use. That's it. No acids before. No serums after. No 10-step routine. Just clean skin, tallow, and time. That simplicity is not a compromise. It is the point. Every few years, something gets labeled a wellness trend, and once it gets that label, people start to dismiss it. Matcha, collagen, adaptogens. Most of these things have real science behind them that gets buried under the noise of commercialization. Tallow is not a trend. It is a return. It was the standard for most of human history. It was replaced, not because something better came along, but because something cheaper came along, and the cheaper thing had better marketing. The women who are going back to tallow are not doing it because it's trending on TikTok. They're doing it because they tried everything else and tallow was the first thing that actually worked. That's a different kind of evidence than a clinical trial. It's the kind that gets passed from person to person quietly because something is genuinely effective. Clinical research on tallow for skin is limited, largely because there's no financial incentive to fund it. You can't patent beef fat. Nobody is going to spend $50 million proving that something ancient and inexpensive works, when they could spend that money developing a proprietary synthetic compound they can sell for 40 times the cost. But the absence of clinical trials is not the same as the absence of evidence. Thousands of years of use across every human civilization is evidence. The biochemical compatibility between tallow and human skin lipids is evidence. The testimonials from real people with real skin conditions who found relief when nothing else worked. That is evidence. Tallow works because it's compatible with what we are, not because someone invented it last year. If you've been curious about tallow, now you know what it is, why it works, and who it's for. The next step is simple. Try it. Give it 2 weeks. 1 ingredient. Clean skin. Morning and night. And see what your skin does when it finally gets something it actually recognizes. We'll have more content coming about the history of skincare, the science of the skin barrier, and everything the beauty industry doesn't want you to know. Subscribe so you don't miss it. The link to the opulent facial elixir is in the description. Made with 100% wagyu tallow, triple rendered, sourced from American wagyu farmers, with only the most rigorously researched ingredients alongside it. Thanks for watching. Visit goldentallow.com to experience your new glow.